Welcome back to all you Raising Ash trainers out there, and today we got another exciting video with the Game 2 at League Play. I know I haven't put this up, I know I went ahead and put a League Challenge up, but I forgot to put the Game 2 up of League Play. And this is Enente Pyroar versus Yveltal, and I completely sort of just actually lost it and I couldn't find it anywhere, and I was like, oh man, you gotta be kidding me. So I dug through some of my files, and I was able to recover it. So I can't wait to show you Trainer TV and Raising Ash go at it on a head-to-head league challenge here, and we have some fun stuff. We do some fun stuff, so I just couldn't wait to get this video out and show you what we did. Now, this is my second time ever playing this deck, and I play it against Trainer TV, who of course has double sleeves, larger size, way larger. He had a very intimidating deck. Very intimidating deck. He had double sleeved up, and I had the smaller deck. I was like the smaller guy here going in to play the big honcho man. So here we go. We got our first go lay down with the Pokemon. Of course, and always, I went ahead and turned these up a little bit, sped them up. Let's get going. Got the first flips. Got Litleo and Jirachi promo. Yes. Let's see what happens here. So I went ahead and drawn up. I haven't seen this. I don't quite remember everything that went on in this game, so it's a little new to me here. So we're going to Trainer's Mail out. We're going to pick up 4. And yeah, just 4. Just take 4. I'm going to take a judge because, you know, judging first turn can be real beneficial to you. Hopefully that's what I am thinking to do now. I do have Litleo on deck. I want to go into a Pyroar or get a Pyroar, and I want to get an Enente. I have put down the Scorched Earth. That's going to allow me to draw up some cards there if I have the Fire Energy. I get the Battle Compressor, which is nice. Get a Fire Energy in there. Get another Fire Energy in here. And let's see how we did with the Fire Energies. And I'm probably going to look for my Blacksmith. And I think I'm realizing on this game I got 1 Blacksmith. This deck runs 3 Blacksmith. 3 Blacksmith, and I end up with 1 Blacksmith. I think I can't believe it. I'm in shock, so I'm going through my deck again to see if I really truly only have 1 Blacksmith. I do have 1 Blacksmith, so there's a big decision on throwing it in. I'm going to have to play my VS Seekers, and if I play my VS Seekers to it, that means I'm burning them on Blacksmith the whole game. So that does put me at a little inability to play this deck to its full functions. But I'm going to go ahead and try for it. I think I'm chuckling a little bit about it because I can't believe that's all I got. The deck really does need a Blacksmith. I'm going to shuffle. And I think he's commenting on my shuffling there. I'm going to go ahead, play the DCE. I know if Jirachi takes it, I'm not going to worry about it at that time. It's in my hand, and I'm going to judge it, so I didn't want to waste it either. I could have probably burned it or burned it back into my deck and then just go ahead and judge. But I wanted to use the judge the first round, get the Litleo out, and just sort of stall up a couple rounds to see what I get. So I'm going to judge out, and of course on judge you're going to take 4. I'm going to limit his hand size and my hand size. And I'll tell you what, that's probably not the most opportune time to judge. What you really want to do is probably get an Ultra Ball in there and then go out for a Shaman, draw up a few cards, get a few turns in. But I did have a fairly decent turn. I wouldn't say it was the best turn in the world there, but it was a reasonable turn. I should have probably looked to put another Pokemon down on my bunch. But I did look like I got the Sycamore. I'm going to go ahead and burn that Fire Energy and draw up a couple times. And that's another reason why I could judge, because I had the Scorched Earth down. So I can draw up and draw a couple more cards. I did get the Pyroar, and I am going to look for the Shaman. I think I realized last time when I Enente'd out, I didn't do it. Now this time was interesting because I had the Sycamore in hand, and I probably could have just played the Entei and Sycamored out next round, but I think I wanted to definitely get the Shaman down so I can go ahead. This deck actually does run better. As more I tested this deck, it does run better when you have less Pokemon on the bench, making it harder for them to hit. You're going to play a prize exchange war with them. And it really, because I'm playing Yveltal Zorak, it really limits the power of Zorak the less you put on the bench. So he's going to play Maxis. Going to get a Glade in there. Trainer TV is going to put down the Dark Energy. And now he's going to go in, and that's a great start. Ultra Ball, Glade. I mean, that's just pretty right there. That's a pretty start. Let's see, what did he get there? I'm sure he got a Yveltal. Or a Shaman. Oh, he played a Zorak. Oh, he had the Shaman in his hand, that's why. Okay, great. He goes out, plays a Zorak down, gets the Shaman up. Gonna draw up for 6. Nice move, takes a beautiful hand. He's got the Yveltal EX, the DCE. Just a great move on his part. He's gonna play down the DCE. Nice. Gonna play the Yveltal EX, probably the Floatstone on Zorak to get that down. He does have the Ultra Ball, so you can Ultra Ball out. Probably picking up another Shaman, possibly. Or Yveltal, baby Yveltal. See what he does. He goes through his deck. It's going to play the baby Yveltal down. So in my head, I'm thinking, well, he's got 3 basics down in the Zorak. So there's 2. He decided to play the DCE on the Zorak, so he wasn't going to take the Jirachi. I can basically take the Jirachi out, which can be a pain for this deck to use. He does get the Glade down. So in my head, I'm thinking there's basically 2 threats. 3 threats on the bench. One is on the opponent's side here. One is on Trainer TV's side. One is the Jirachi, the Zorak, and the other is the Glade. He got a beautiful move with the Glade and was able to go ahead and flip it on the yeah, this is the first turn. Flip it on the first turn. So, you know, when you get that type of luck running for you, you have to sort of just be patient. He's obviously running full steam, full head. I'm going to go into the Pyroar, and I'm probably going to want to take that Jirachi out. He is a threat. If I can get the Zora, that would be the best move. But I'm going to play the Anente down, and what I want to do is I'm going to play the Assault Vests probably on it to force him to make sure that he has to charge the Glade through the Yveltal. So there's a couple different ways you can sort of work this deck. And right now I'm going to be doing double damage on the Jirachi, so it'll be a knockout. I did Sycamore, so I'm not going to be able to Lysander him up. I'm going to play Trainer's Mail and see what I get. Now I'm probably wanting to ensure that I get the supporter. The bad thing about it is I have 3, like I said, 3 blacksmiths, and 2 of them are prized at this moment. So I have to take a lot of big decisions into consideration. I need a VS Seeker. So it's going to take me some time to charge up things. I do take the VS Seeker, and I know that'll take me some time to charge up things. I'm just looking over his deck, and you can see that first turn Judge that I didn't really work out for me. He was able to really roll his way out of there and be able to get what needed to be done with that Judge. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And this is the interesting part about this deck. I do run a Super Rod. So the thing is that you can recycle in the Pyroars and the energies, because you really only need 2 energies at all times in the discard, and so you can recycle in an energy and in the discard. And the thing about it is when you're recycling those type of Pokemon back in, it puts a lot of pressure on them to run the Hex Maniac. So instead of getting their draw cards on a full bench, he's going to have to VS Seeker for his Hex Maniacs in order to knock out the Pyro. Right now he has a total of 3 threats to my deck on the board, so I'm going to have to work through those threats, but that is definitely doable with the prize card exchange, because the only EX currently I have on my deck is the Shaman. So that's what's going on in my head at this point. I'm going to take out the Jirachi and take my first prize card. he's going to pull up the Yveltal. Now, the Yveltal won't be able to do damage on me, but he's going to have to find another attacker at this point. And what I'm hoping is that he doesn't have the Zorok going. If he gets the Zorok, that'll be a big, massive play where he can come in and sort of swipe me for 100 points of damage. If he gets the Muscle Band on the Zorok, of course, it's a knockout. So what he can do is he can play Oblivion Wing and take the energy back down to the Glade, and he's making that decision. Now, he's made his energy attachment onto the Yveltal, and he went ahead and did Oblivion Wing. Now, Pyroar is going to go ahead and block that damage. I'm going to want to put up another Pyroar if I can to get that down. I do have another Enente, but I believe I'm going to hold on to it because there's no sense in putting it down with the Zorok. So I'm going to DCE that, and I'm feeling pretty comfortable right now, save for I only have one Blacksmith in my entire deck, and the only way I can get through it is through my VS Seekers. So I've already performed sort of a risky play, and I'm like, woo! Yeah, let's just see how that turns out. I do have a VS Seeker in hand, but I'm going to Ultra Ball out the Shaman, getting rid of my Shaman because I don't want to put it on there. And I do have the Scorch Earth, which is nice, so I can be doing extra draws. I'm going to take the Pyroar and play down the Pyroar. Now my opponent is actually looking at my deck and he's saying, okay, now I got the Pyroar. I'm going to have to get the Gallade charge, which next round he basically can. He'll have to float stone out the Yveltal to get the Gallade charge to make the hit on the Pyroar. But if I can get the Enente up and I decide to Lysander up the Zorok, looking back on it, I could have Lysandered up the Gallade. And but I was looking at the Zorok as the bigger threat because I wanted to play down another Enente. And I went ahead and VS Secret out for my Professor Sycamore. So I go ahead and off the bat, I take Zorok, my two biggest threats. So this is my last threat here, is the Gallade. If I can get the knockout on the Gallade, it'll literally put him in a forced position to Lysander up my Shaman to take 2 on my Shaman. So I sort of have to go through this carefully. Now he's going to take this knockout on the Pyroar, but he opts to go for the Enente. Now I have the Assault Vest on the Enente, but in all honesty, it'll knock him out, yeah. And I just realized, oh yeah, he's going to take that. But I'm going to go ahead and run the Pyroar back up, the fully charged Pyroar. And I don't mind that play because I can get to the Sycamore. I do have that in hand. It's a mild annoyance. I'm going to run the Blacksmith because I got the Blacksmith. And I'm going to get my Pyroar charged up. And the reason why is because Gallade I'm going to do a 110 to. So I'm going to get that. He can take a knockout on any one of my Pokemon, but it forces him in a predicament where he's gonna have to get the Zorok out, or he's gonna have to flip another Maxis for Gallade, because he can't hit me at this point if I keep running that Pyroar, or he's gonna be forced to run the VS Seeker to the Hex Maniac, which of course is going to limit his hand play. So there's a couple trick plays he's trying to run through right now, and all of them are definitely doable, but will take some cards to get going here. And he's going to look through his hand. He does have the Hex in his hand, and he knows that he can use that Hex on me to run the Yveltal to knock out the Pyroars. Looks like he's searching through his deck at this point. He's going to DCE down to the Yveltal, which is a great play. He'd be able to knock out if he hexed. And he's going to throw the Hex and the VS Seeker. Again, he's tapping through his resources because he knows he has to put a lot together in order to knock out these Pyroars. And that's the whole idea of the deck, is that I want him to run through his resources to really pull that VS Seeker out from the Hex Maniac. And again, if he's VS Seeking for the Hex Maniac, he doesn't have the draw support to get those Sycamores out, and that's the idea behind the deck. So he's going to go ahead and Trainers... Oh no, he's going to Acrobike. He's going to do, yep, there he goes. He's going to organize a little bit there. You're going to want to play definitely that VS Seeker. I think he put that in the 2 spot. He's going to unknown out. Unknown again. Great play. Great play. He's going to get what he needs, the muscle band and so forth, for the one-hit knockouts. He's going to Ultra Ball out, go into the, discarding the Maxis and the Jirachi, and he's going to play down the Zoroark. Again, now he's just put my position, he's just put himself into a really threatening position all in one turn to my deck. He's going to knock out the Pyro and take 2. So I'm going to go ahead and put up a Pyro. I knew that was going to knock down, but I got to mitigate and put down another Entei and then Sycamore out. So I'm going to draw up 7, and what I'm looking for is an energy hit to knock out the Gallade. If I can take the energy, so I went ahead and Muscle Band here. I'm going to go ahead and look through my deck. And then I rod in. And again, this is the great thing about the rod, is that I'm going to be able to take that. And I already have 2 energies in there, so I could probably put another energy back into my deck, recycling my Pyroars back in. Oh, he's talking about the rods. So I'm going to take those and stash them back into the deck, and knowing I can recycle them back out through the Ultra Ball if I need to. So again, the really cool thing about this deck is that you're sort of recycling the Pyros in, and you're forcing them to play their resources out. But the hardest thing is that Entei is such a tough charge that, you know, he's just, it's, when you get him up, you know, you need to get him up quick. So you're really playing the prize card exchange war here as you're doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and take a Judge out. Looking to judge him, and it looks like I have the Shaman in hand, and I'm thinking about playing it or not playing it. But I don't want the Zoroark to go off. So there's a lot of little things I'm keeping track of when I'm playing his deck. Oh no, I don't need to do that. I could have just knocked him out with the 60. Oh yeah, he tells me I don't need to do that. Yeah. So I go ahead and take it. So I have 3 prize cards now, and I've taken the 3rd one. And what he needs to do is play his Yveltal down and look for the VS Seeker to the Hex. Oh, he's going to Lysander up. And if he decides to Lysander up, he could take the Shaman. He could go ahead and take the Shaman if he wanted to take the Shaman. He's going to Zoroark. Oh, there you go. He's got the DCE. He's got the Muscle Band. So he's going to want to stand in, but I'm limiting my bench. So he's going to do 30, 60, 90, 100, and that'll be the knockout. Oh, did he take two prize cards? No, he must have took one. I think he took 2 prize cards. He's shady. You hear that, Trainer TV? No, he took 1. So I'm going to go ahead and AZ up. I'm going to put the Shaman back down. I could have, in retrospectively thinking, I could have not used the shaman at all, and just because I had the judge, I could have just judged in, just to get the shaman off because it was such a big threat, um, to be taken in the prize card exchange. So retrospectively speaking, I could have done probably a lot more with this. So I go ahead and pass the turn. At this point, I don't have the VS Seeker. I can't get the blacksmiths in. And this is where it really does show that he's going to just sort of run through the deck, and I'm going to have to stall out at this point because I don't really have anything I can charge or anything to put damage on them. So you can sort of see when you're playing this deck, you can sort of see where it struggles because you have cards that are taking so long to charge, and on the other end you have the dark deck is taking, 1 or 2 to charge at completes, and the fire decks are definitely taking, 3 charges on them and then burning their supporter. So it's definitely the option of the speed decks, uh, versus, sort of more of the power decks and the blocker decks. And he goes ahead and puts 90 down on it using the. I'm gonna pyro up, and what I really need at this point, and I think I make the mistake right here. What I really needed to do is just attach to Pyroar. And if I would have attached to Pyroar, I think I would have gotten the game because he would have been forced to Lily up Pyroar. See, I needed to attach to Pyroar and then run the DCE because I was going to judge him. And then I was going to basically pray he didn't pick up a Lysander or a VS Seeker at this point to Lily out my Shaman because he only had 2 prize cards left. So I'm going to draw up 4. And I think I do recognize my mistake because I hit the DCE and I knew I should have attached to Pyroar versus that. Because it would have forced him to Lysander up the Pyroar, and he couldn't. He could have retreated though, and then but he would have had to attach to the Zorak again. So there was a couple plays that he could have done, even if he Lysandered up the Pyroar. That would have been able to be manageable. But I did get him to a point where he had 4, he had a small hand, so it was a better gamble than to do it when they have 7 or 8 cards in their hand. Go ahead and burn that fire energy. I'm going to take a couple more cards. I think I'm hunting down the DCE, and I did hit the DCE, and right now I think I'm kicking myself because I'm thinking, oh, I could have gone to Pyroar and just taking the Zorok, um, after he took my Enente. It would put him down to 1 prize card. I would have had Zorok. It would have forced him to go to the Hex, and he would have need the VS Seeker for the Hex. So he could have gone that way. He does take my Pyroar, and I am just noticing my huge blunder of mistakes at this point. And what I should have done is promoted the Entei. I had this Salt Vest on him. I should have DCE'd the Entei. And there's just so many mistakes that I'm making right now that I just sort of want to reach out and yell at myself. So you can really see the blunders I'm going through at this point. Again, when you're doing new decks, you really don't know, um, especially these type of decks where you're playing a lot of head games with people on how to manage it to the best of the abilities. Where it's not just sort of it's a one trick pony type of deck. It's got a lot of different avenues into it and different things you want to block at certain times, and you don't want to block. You want offense at certain times. So it's definitely a different style of deck, and I'm just trying to get used to it. And you can see me blundering through it. Matter of fact, I hit the fire energy, and I've already attached my DCE, and I've realized what a blunder I just made. He's going to go ahead and double down on the Yveltal, stacking all the energy he can possibly can. And what he wants to do is just VS Seeker, retreat him, go straight to the Yveltal, and he's going to win this in pretty much a good style. Hit the Hex Maniac, hit the Lysander, bring up the Yveltal, and that is game, folks. And that's pretty much how the decks works. And it's a tough game between those two type of decks when you're playing them. As I've gotten used to the deck, I do know that the adding in some I was about to say super scoops, but not super scoops, Pokemon catchers. Adding in some Pokemon catchers is really a really good play for this deck. It's really an amazing card for this format. So I would suggest that if you do have him, to add in the Pokemon catchers, you can play Pokemon catchers with the Pyro decks and bring up the cards you need to sort of stall out with it. All right, thanks for tuning in, and you guys have a great one. This is Raising Ash out.